How long in this How long is this movie?
4 hours.
How long is the first half of this movie?
8 years.
How didn't we give up?
I don't know.
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Story Time is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and this week we're finishing up our 4 Stephen King miniseries
Yes, indeed.
expedition. I mean, to be fair, if you have been watching these and you're like, well, wait, there's other ones that are more famous or whatever, like, go back in our history. They're in there.
They are.
It and Langoliers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, here's the basic premise. An old guy is in an explosion at a science lab. Whatever was being made that exploded on him starts making him younger.
Yes.
And a super secret government agency that Stephen King puts in a few things called The Shop is after him and possibly his wife.
Yes.
But mainly him.
Yeah. Basically.
That's the premise as I see it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a decent premise. You think Stephen King could handle this?
Stephen King,
Right.
usually the complaints are endings.
Yeah, that's true. So is there anything else we should mention, do you think, before we show him the trailer?
Well, it's not streaming, so you can't watch it. That's too bad.
Why, do you hate our audience? I mean, I'm not going to give away how we feel. How about we throw it to the trailer and then
Yes,
we'll
that one.
talk more.
From the master of mystery, Stephen King takes you on this summer's most shocking journey.
What is wrong with my husband?
Something happened to him. When a man discovers there is something more frightening than growing old.
You don't look the way you did 2 weeks ago. You look the way you did 2 years ago.
Growing young.
I could disappear without a trace.
Who's gonna help us?
Stephen King's masterful thriller, Golden Years, premieres Tuesday.
Well, that
Yeah,
was...
it was a TV spot.
Considering it was originally a super long miniseries, the fact that
7
it's
or 8 episodes or something like that.
I think it was 7, but then they had it a 30-second commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that makes sense. Wow. All right, I have to say we hate doing what we're about to do to this movie when we get into the reviewing.
Usually.
We don't like taking a dump upon things, but sometimes
When they are
toilets.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we have to explain why we're actually here. See,
Because it's not to review horror movies, as you might have thought.
yes, I mean,
We're here this week.
we tell people that every week and they don't listen. They come up and they're like, hey, you review horror movies. I'm like,
It's like, no.
we prostitute ourselves to corporations for money.
It's truly 2 different worlds.
It's like, we just use this as an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a front. What?
Nothing. But anyway, all right. This week, the reason that we got one of those giant foam checks
Yes.
and stood there and had our picture taken with balloons in your hand and your hair was done up in braids But
do you have a
I mean,
pen?
that wasn't for the
Can I see the
commercial.
pen?
That was just because you like it.
Can I have the pen?
Sure. You gonna stab me?
No.
This week, Gory Story Time is brought to you by Conspiracy, the card game that helps you create new governmental conspiracies. Like a certain other card game that is against humanity, you combine cards that make the most out there claims and then give your best explanation of the hows and whys. Conspiracy, because an obviously inept government is also full of evil super geniuses.
Right. I love how that's the theory. And by Harlan's Hand Cream, the wrinkle-removing lotion for the elderly. Look years younger after only a few applications of Harlan's Hand Cream. And are you tired of crow's feet, sick of sagging skin, annoyed by wrinkles? Then Harlan's Hand Cream is for you. Our patented formula is guaranteed to tighten and smooth all your skin, and I mean all your skin, point down at crotch. Oh.
You moron.
Harlan's Hand Cream. Just because you are old doesn't mean you have to look it.
You know you're not supposed to read the stage direction, right?
Okay. Yeah, I don't read ahead.
Right, but if it's
So I
in
wouldn't have known
parentheses,
that.
like
I was reading?
I did that so that you would notice.
No, you didn't. They did.
Yes. You done?
Yeah. I almost started again when it said our patented formula. I was going to say our patented sagging skin.
What was the tagline though?
Just because you're old doesn't mean you have to look it?
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway.
Yes.
We tried our best, and by that I mean I tried my best, to research facts about this.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of facts known about this, so...
I was just trying to spend as little time on this as possible.
Well, I stretched it out, unfortunately, to get it to 10 facts total instead of 10 facts each like we normally do. But, you want to go first, or you want me to?
I can go first. At Frankie's Safe House, one of Francie's Safe House, one of the hippies introduces another as Captain Trips. That's also the name of the flu that wiped out Earth in The Stand. Also by Stephen King.
Stephen King often appears as a cameo in his movies or series. Here, he plays a Greyhound bus driver that picks up Gina and Terry.
Yep. Harlan and Gina Williams, malevolent pursuer Jude Andrews, played by Artie Call, and the Williams' protector, Terry Spann, played by Felicity Huffman, both worked for the secret U.S. government agency known as The Shop that had kidnapped Drew Barrymore in another Stephen King novel, Firestarter.
While convincing Harlan and his wife to flee with her, Terry makes reference to an Agent Rainbird. That is another reference to Firestarter.
Nice. In his original airing on network television, Golden Years was crafted as a possible ongoing series with a cliffhanger ending. Harlan's wife, Gina, died from a heart attack while they tried to escape from the shop. Harlan refused to leave her side, forcing Terry Spann and General Cruz to leave him behind. Harlan was captured by shop operative Jude Andrews, but Spann and Cruz hoped to free him at another time.
We didn't see that version because we saw the version that's
none
on
of
DVD.
what's said there was actually in what we saw.
When the show failed to catch on with viewers, the miniseries was released on video with an alternate ending used that show Harlan and Gina vanish in an apparent time vortex, and Jude Andrews gets killed by Terry Spann.
Yeah. The U.S. video version includes a few scenes not shown on the television broadcast.
That makes sense. Add to it when you're cutting down the 6-hour thing to 4 hours. Why? Why? All they needed was more scenes.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, when Harlan, Gina, and Terry are sitting on a bench discussing their next move, you can see the tip of a boom mic bobbling over the heads of Harlan and Terry.
I thought I noticed that. The story was created by Stephen King. He wrote the first 5 episodes, but another writer named Joseph Anderson wrote the last 2.
This miniseries has awful reviews. Screen Rant I assume, was trying to be nice when they said Stephen King's Golden Years is his weirdest miniseries. And that's the
No,
nicest thing
by
we've
the
heard
way,
about this.
It's not even a true statement. It's definitely not his weirdest. He's had weird... I mean, like, a whole airport of people getting trapped in time and then giant balls from time try to eat them. Way weirder
Don't
than an old guy gets young.
disrespect the time balls.
Well, you know, I hated that one too, but this one's not gonna be much better.
Anyway, that is all of the facts we could find about this darn thing, but we have other facts that we can tell you. Like, would you like to tell them this time about Rotten Tomatoes? And
Oh,
how it
yes,
works?
Rotten Tomatoes is a thing. And normally what they do is they take the reviews that exist and tell you what percentage of them were positive. That is only when there are reviews.
That are positive at all.
That too.
Yeah. So you usually do yours first.
I do. So the critics did not watch this movie.
No official reviews.
Or if they did, they didn't let anyone know that they had watched this.
Because it was at 0%. And the people also did not watch this movie.
And you know, I get it.
We tried really hard not to. Like, the second half took a couple days.
Yeah, it took a couple days for us to start it. Once we started the second one, because we watched the first one over like 3 days.
Oh, it was rough. Like, it was dry and boring.
It was completely
just,
like action-free, humor-free.
Like,
there was no scare. There was just a boring guy working at a boring place, and there was a boring janitor with a boring wife who boringly got exploded with magical like aging dust.
Or de-aging dust.
And it was still boring.
Yeah.
Him exploding was boring.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I can't argue. So, yeah, the people felt the same way. They also didn't watch it. It's like I said. All right. Now, we always go with what's harder to do. If we really like a movie, we always start with the least favorite things. Obviously, that's not the case this week. So, what was your favorite thing about this?
Of our...
We always go with whatever is the opposite of how we felt
No, I know, but
about
we
it.
kind of talked about this earlier, and the order kind of matters, doesn't it?
Not really. Like.
Oh, I know. Favorite? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, you're right. Never mind. I'm just going crazy. What was my favorite part of this?
Yeah, like out of the whole thing, what was good?
So, like, in the last 30 seconds of the second half, I have to make sure that that's known.
We're willing to spoil it because we
Don't
do
watch
not,
it.
Yeah, don't. Like, first of all, it's not streaming anywhere, and second of all, don't look for it.
If it was streaming, they should remove it. Okay, it's not good. But at the very, very end, when the shop guy is coming up behind him, and he gets into a broke-down car with his wife, and then the girl comes up behind the bad guy, shoots the bad guy right through the heart, which is probably the coolest thing I've seen in a Stephen King movie. The way they did that was
I mean,
so
it was
perfect.
pretty realistic looking.
And he felt like a sack of potatoes. And then Harlan grabs his wife and turns into light.
And they basically disappear,
And it's just so... That was really cool.
Yeah.
That almost made me want more.
Well.
Almost.
That was kind of an ending. My favorite part...
That was an ending.
It was. My favorite part... honestly, was how... boy,
Yeah?
the premise. I liked the
It's a
premise.
really cool premise.
It has a good premise. The first half doesn't do it justice.
Nope.
Like, Stephen King had a good idea, and then
When he wrote episodes, they were bad.
And then he wiped
Because his episodes had to have
backside
been the bad
on
ones.
the paper and called it the script. Yeah, like they say he doesn't know how to do endings.
He kept this and tried to can Carrie.
Yeah, well,
gall.
what was your least favorite? Because this is a lot easier since we hated this thing.
Okay, so my least favorite thing about this entire adventure was that after the first one, the second one was actually really good.
Like really good.
Like
entertaining.
From start
engaging.
to finish. Like we didn't pause it much, and we don't not pause things. We just stayed there watching the whole time. It was really good. And that made me mad. Because it means that they were able to write well.
Well,
or at least
the second half was mostly
Joseph
exactly,
Anderson.
Exactly.
So hats off to Joseph Anderson.
Jofus?
You're better at Stephen King than Stephen King is.
At least in this instance. All right. Well, that brings me to my least favorite thing, which would be, what did I say earlier? Holy crap! I don't.
What did I just say?
I mean, we were going to say different.
I
things.
said the second half.
Yeah, well, the first half, I guess.
Right, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, like I mean,
um,
just the whole 2 hours. I would have been highly entertained if someone had started growing grass next to me so I could watch. Like, it would have been an improvement from watching this movie.
The special effects were not good. The acting was not good. The acting was not good. What?
Talk. Yeah, it was just
no,
awful.
It's bad. It's bad.
Like, I never say this. Don't watch this unless you are a masochist and the person who you normally have beat you isn't available.
Just let Stephen King do it for 2.5 hours.
But honestly, realize it's not the enjoyable kind of torture that you're probably into.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is awful. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say?
So it starts at 1?
Yeah, it starts at 1. But realize we did like the second half.
I'm going to give it, out of 10, a 2.5. Okay? And
that's all from the second half.
Yes, I'm giving it 2.5 extra points than I would have because the second half is really good.
I'm going to go with 2, and here's the thing. If the second half was somehow all of it, I probably would have went with a 7.
Yeah.
That's how bad the first half is. It takes a 7 down to a 2, which doesn't seem mathematically correct, but it was that awful.
It truly was. It really, really was.
So,
this is just
garbage. If you're really bored sometime and you want to like
stay that
push
way,
yourself over the edge
to honestly,
just ruin your boredom can be ruined by extra boredom.
What was it like?
When you attempt to do something and you're still bored, that's worse.
Right? Okay. I think it's but you could go to your local DVD store for $6. You could buy this movie.
DVD store?
Yes. And you could take the disc out of the case, flip it upside down, put it into your player, and we'll give you the first half. A guy is hit with magical de-aging dust from a science place. And when the bad, shady government people find out about it, they do shady government stuff at him. The second half picks up with, now he's on the run.
And it was good. So
watch the second half. It's a 7. Maybe even a 7.5.
Like, it's not on Netflix, but I'd rather have my nuts flicked.
Hey.
Like, this was awful.
Don't watch it.
But why don't we come to happier things, like saying the stuff we do at the end?
Saying goodbye. So Fact TV channel 1082 is where you can watch this on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook, and when I say us, I mean Gory Story Time and Fact TV.
Oh, yeah. You can go to factate.com, watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as many other pieces of entertainment. Many, many, many things that are better than the movie we reviewed.
You can like or follow me on Twitter and sort of me again with him. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Chiggly Firmbrain. I only tweet things that he says that I found funny, usually out of context.
Unless the context makes it funnier. And just check out the YouTube page. Type in Gory Story Time, subscribe, like, smash that notification bell. And what will come up on top of my page is also the Fact TV page. You can like and subscribe to that too.
And until next time, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And
Sweet dreams.